You're a son of a bitch. You're a son of a bitch.
Way to have people shooting
Pakistan.
up. I had a lady already come and ask me for money, which is, you know, women don't approach men in this country, so that was strange as well. Man, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in Karachi. This place is, you know, a little crazy. So let's see if that piracy culture is still here in the Rainbow Center. I'm sure we'll find some hacking, some cracking, and some jailbreaking inside. And yeah, let's just see what other kind of like video game stuff we find in such an old market like this. Okay, so first off, the market sees 2 floors here, and then there's like apartment complex above it. So
No,
let's
I
go
don't have any
inside and
chips.
explore and look for
Gummy
video
is
games.
just
I'm sure
a
we'll
hungry son
find
of a
some
bitch.
retro stuff, and let's see what the scene is here in
He's
Pakistan for
wanted to
video
eat my
games.
tofu lately.
So these guys are just doing like dry fruit. This used to just be all CD shops and DVD shops, okay? Oh, we can still see some remnants of that here actually. Look at this. Assalamu alaikum ji.
Walaikum assalam.
Bijli ka aa gaya? Bijli gayi?
Sir, wo subah jinnat aate hain, wo le gए.
This is Karachi's Rainbow Center, and most people walking past today have no idea what this place used to be. Before Netflix and the internet, this building was Pakistan's entertainment industry. For decades, the Rainbow Center was the country's biggest piracy hub. Movies, music, software, games. This market supplied all of Pakistan. But how did this market fall and become all about video games? Well, this man was there. तो आजकल कितने मूवी दुकान यहाँ हैं?
मुश्किल से सर 10 से 12 या 15.
What 80s में, 90s में?
90s में तो 400, 500 वो दुकानें थी. 80 और 90s में उरूज पे थी ये मार्केट, उरूज. जब पाँव रखने की जगह नहीं थी. 2015-14 से फिर पीछे आ गई.
क्यों?
नेट का दौर आ गया जैसे. जो चीज़ चाहिए आपको आप लिख लें, वो चीज़ सामने आ जाएगी. तो इस तरह प्रोसेस जो है पीछे आता गया.
I can't believe this. The light's been off since like 8 in the morning. So how are these guys going to do business, you know? How are they going to do business in the dark here? And I'm just walking out to the other side of the market. And there's lanes, okay? You can see down the end there. So it's like a square market down here. Let's check upstairs. People spitting pan everywhere.
That's
All
gross.
over India, all over Pakistan. And yeah, the light is off up here as well, but it's 2 stories. So a lot of the shops have just closed their shutters because too hard to do business. So I think the guy at Sardar Games is correct. He told me, Carl, come back tomorrow when the power's on or else your video's not going to be any good. So yeah, he's right, he's right. I'll come back kal ya parso and we'll be able to see something, okay? Shops. Hopefully the power is back. Let's check. This is Sardar Games, and it looks like a very nice store, what they've got going on here. So
wait for the end.
You didn't give me a link. Thanks for the donation though, Speed Racer. BG, I rode a Ferrari in a Sorry, I rode in a Ferrari 458 the other day, kind of an older model, but still sounds great and is somewhat fast. Newer cars have ruined speed for me. Newer cars in general are kind of trash. Like the new traction control systems and everything, they let you drive faster and more safely with less skill, so it's a different kind of thing, you know? And yeah, like manual transmissions are going away. 6 speeds are way more fun to drive. Like everything should be a fucking 6-speed. Happy Valentine's. Well, that's tomorrow.
We got PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Yeah, asli copies, na? Genuine, authentic copies, yes.
Original.
Original, that's the word. And then we've even got PlayStation 3 down here as well.
For the end.
Look at this video. Look at this video. This is what's wrong with America right here. We got a pregnant woman having a change.
Yeah, I've already seen this, like the stupid joke where he's actually in the video.
Filter by herself. No husband in sight. No, she probably doesn't even know who the dad of the baby is. This is the problem. These women in America are just having these babies. They're not staying with the dads. The dads aren't sticking around.
Okay, thank you for going off my computer, but no food for you.
They're picking these low-life, deadbeat dads. Nobody around to help them. Just having to do all this herself. And she's just gonna get bigger. She's gonna get bigger and bigger, more and more pregnant. Look at this video.
Not funny. Thanks for the donation.
Man, everything new just sucks these days, doesn't it? VG.
Yeah, a lot of it. A lot of it, anyway. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
More games. आप consoles ठीक कर सकते हैं.
Repair, upgrade, jailbreak.
अच्छा. And you sell consoles? आप consoles बेचते हैं?
दिखाओ इनको, repairing दिखाओ जाओ. Console repair, sir, वहाँ देखें.
So in here, this is the repair station.
The Young Turks are complaining about pro-Palestinians being censored again.
We just learned that DHS officers have been permitted to infiltrate social media groups and friend ordinary Americans using fake social media accounts. Have you made any new friends online lately? But what are your 2 cents here?
So before we give you all the facts, and they are depressing, and we'll show you how they might infiltrate a group that you're in, so you could be armed with that knowledge. Let me just tell you that, like, I assume that whenever I'm online, if anyone suggests something wrong, they're a federal agent, and it turns out I might be right. So Jordan, tell them the facts.
Well, enemy of the show, Ken Klippenstein, just reported on a new protocol called masked engagement. Under the rules of masked engagement, Homeland Security officers may utilize fake social media profiles, friend unsuspecting users, enter private group chats, and more. DHS agents were previously allowed to use fake profiles, but only for the purposes of passively monitoring the internet. That practice.
Okay, stop being a pest.
This was known as masked monitoring. Unlike with masked engagement, agents could not friend real users and enter non-public groups, according to.
Is this news to them? All police agencies use social media.
To one of Ken Klippenstein's sources, masked engagement is already a mass-scale operation. A senior Department of Homeland Security official tells me that over 6,500 field agents and intelligence operatives can now use the new tool. The only restriction imposed on masked engagement is that DHS officers not meet the threshold of substantive engagement, a term the rules leave conveniently ill-defined. Masked engagement broadens the scope of what undercover agents can do without the authorization for a full-on sting, which requires certain clearances. And these officers are using sophisticated tools to mask their identities. One is
So the most gay fucking retarded beta males I've ever fucking seen in my life. Do you ever wish God would exist? No. Trend prolapse, donate $2. Stumbled upon this transformation. Imagine saying Natty in 2025. We need more roid propaganda from you, Richie. Yeah, I'll definitely, you know, more roid propaganda soon. Retta, Glow, Ipamorelin, MT2. What the fuck's MT2? He's on more than that. Like, you're not getting, like, what, a good 20 pounds more muscle from, whatever the fuck the, like, I know what some of these peptides are, but yeah, he'd need more than that for that transformation. So he's not mentioning the steroids he's on, I'm assuming, because it's like illegal in his country or something. Face of man with 1200 testosterone versus 200 testosterone. Raised my T and finally stopped looking prepubescent. Filled up my frame, upper jaw, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, it changes your fat distribution for one thing, and your facial muscles often hypertrophy. So, yeah. I don't know why you'd only want 1200 test. Most guys don't need a 9-peptide wizard stack. Dialed in TRT plus sane dose of Reto will take you 90% of the way. Yeah. Why is he wearing underwear on his head? Yeah, only 1200. I don't know why he wouldn't just go higher. Yeah, 1200 is nothing. I was at 2220 on only 210 milligrams test. Thanks for the donation though, Trend Prolapse.
What about this one?
Did you know that there is only one country in the world that attacked the U.S. and never faced retaliation? A U.S.
Oh, Melanotan too. Yeah, that makes sense.
Navy ship was operating in international waters in the Mediterranean Sea, about 25 nautical miles off the coast of Egypt. Fighter jets from a neighboring country initially flew over the vessel without incident. However, a few hours later, those same aircraft began attacking the ship. The assault involved rockets, machine guns, and even torpedoes. The ship's communication equipment was destroyed, the U.S. flag was shot down, and the crew was unable to call for help. By the time the attack ended, 34 American crew members were killed, and 171 were wounded. Later, the attacking country stated that the incident was a tragic case of mistaken identity, believing the ship to be Egyptian. The U.S. government officially accepted this explanation, but many...
You can look at the silhouette in the profile of the Egyptian ship versus the American ship. It looks almost identical. A very easy, simple case of mistaken identity.
Crew members believed the attack was deliberate. Despite the controversy and repeated calls for further investigation, the U.S. chose not.
The idea that it is deliberate is insane. America was an ally to Israel and they were supplying them weapons while they were at war. Why would they deliberately attack an American ship?
To retaliate, making it one of the most debated incidents in U.S. diplomacy to
It is not a debated incident.
this day.
Who's this fucking propaganda fuckwit? Is this like an AI? Yeah, this is an AI channel, right? Yeah, it's an AI channel. Why are you sending me this garbage?
You know, VG, it's so strange that people like the Young Turks, who for years always said freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences, are now complaining about consequences affecting their freedom of speech.
Yes. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
consoles बेचते हैं?
We have all varieties: PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PS3, PS4, 360, PlayStation 3.
अब 360 बेचते हैं क्यों?
जी जी।
ये बहुत पुराना है ना?
बट न्यू यानी कि नए खेलने वालों के लिए बहुत है ये GTA 5 के लिए इसकी डिमांड है क्योंकि इसमें GTA 5 प्ले होता है। अब बिल्कुल यानी कि कम उम्र के बच्चे आते हैं तो वो PS2 भी लेते हैं।
PS2 है। कौन से वीडियो गेम सबसे ज़्यादा पॉपुलर हैं?
पॉपुलर जो है GTA 5 है, फोर्जा हॉरिज़ॉन है, इसके अलावा कॉल ऑफ ड्यूटी है, लास्ट ऑफ अस है, अनचार्टेड है और रेड डेड है। इसकी बड़ी डिमांड है। रेसलिंग की इतनी नहीं है, इतनी क्रिकेट की है और फीफा की है।
That's interesting.
With games.
It's funny how I don't know how much the government really cares about like enforcing Islam. I would have thought, you know, in Pakistan, a game like Last of Us wouldn't be all that popular because there's literally gay and trans characters in both games.
The cancel mob in the movement is back again. They got some chick kicked out of AV for using slurs. Not advocating people be bigots, but saying people can't be vegan if they're racist or homophobic is beyond fucking retarded.
What did she just call somebody a faggot or something? Or
come to find out that racism has slipped into the animal rights movement. There's this person called Jim something who's been caught being openly racist, attacking people. As vegans, we're supposed to be better. And yet, this person...
Who the fuck cares, bro? If I could get every white girl to call me the N-word, I'd be fucking happy. That shit turns me on. Like you can't fucking believe. So, that's fine by me. Also, what the fuck? Oh yeah, Clavs hang. He really shouldn't hang out with Connor Murphy. Like, they're just bad news. Oh my god, really? You know, he looks good bald. Like, you know, I'm bald pilled. Like, fuck the hair thing. If you go bald, you go bald. Just deal with it. He's like actually teaching them to wear fucking eyeliner.
Energetic is going to teach me how to properly put on makeup as...
Stop bothering me. Oh my god, you know you're not getting food.
a man. What kind of makeup is the most leveraged makeup to put on?
Mascara.
Mascara. And is this what girls use on their eyebrows, right?
You can use it on your brows, but mainly lashes.
Eyelashes.
Yep.
Okay, so you paint your eyelashes. Okay. And you gonna do mine?
Yep.
Okay.
No.
Ángel la ciencia.
That just looks gay to me. Yeah, I wouldn't call that better. I'd call that gay. Fucking weird. Oh, I think I skipped a thing. Based Tony Huge.
How do we stick our little pinky toe into the pool of performance-enhancing drugs? Well, firstly, take something. Take anything. Just don't be natural, because being natural is a complete waste of time. We are on this earth for a very limited amount of time, and you don't want to live your life.
Tony Huge is like an evil, retarded asshole. I would advise anybody to never listen to him.
In regret, like I did. I didn't start
That's enough.
using steroids until I was age 30. I wasted 10 years of my life as a natural, hitting a plateau, dieting and training. Imagine all that time that I spent working on.
I can't stand the fucking music. Thanks for the donation though, Geek and Veins.
Also, I don't care if it's only an AI channel, it should report it for hate speech because it's promoting anti-Semitism.
Yeah, and it's like everything they said just is total bullshit. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
इसके अलावा Call of Duty है, Last of Us है.
Yeah, Last of Us, Uncharted, yeah. That's really surprising that a game with literally a lesbian main character and gay and trans side character, well, Lev was like pretty much a main character in the second game. So like basically a main character. You don't play as them, but main character to the story. Like a lead. Trans. Like it's kind of surprising that they wouldn't care about that.
Uncharted है और Red Dead है. इसकी बड़ी डिमांड है.
Wrestling?
Wrestling की इतनी नहीं है. इतनी क्रिकेट की है और FIFA की है. ये 9,000 रुपए का with games.
What games? कितने games?
2025.
25 games.
This console is China console. This game stick is named and 20,000 games, which arcade, Sega, Atari, is all of them is games in a one stick.
So this is retro gaming.
Retro gaming.
Wow. Just in
Which
those
one
are
stick
always
in
terrible.
all of these games is.
And this
in
goes
there.
into the TV, is it?
G.
Wow. It looks just like a PlayStation controller.
PlayStation 3.
और ये कितने रुपए हैं?
He's only 4,000. You have a King of Fighter, Street Fighter, Mario, Tekken 3, all of the games.
और आपका Xbox 360 और PlayStation 2 ये modified है ना?
Modified हैं, jailbreak हैं,
हाँ.
which is game is installed. Have a 50 and 60 games up is hard drive and 2025 games in USB.
Okay. और दोनों 9,000.
9,000 is a 24,000.
250 rupees per game installation on the PS4. Cheap, man. Because brand new, it might be around 10,000 rupees for one game.
Minimum 2,000, maximum 16,000.
In fact, why don't you just report that channel right now, VG, if you still have the link?
You know, I'm not going to bother going back and finding the link. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Yeah, but you have a jailbreak, 250 and 200 per game installation.
That means one original game can cost about a week's salary here. So for
Whoa.
most people, piracy isn't a choice, it's the only option. These games are priced for American incomes. Would you work 5 days just to buy one game?
This stuff is the copy controllers of a PS4, colorful edition, 3,000 each per handle. But you maybe buy original controller, original brand new 16,000. One controller, 16,000 rupees.
So the cool thing is you can come to these stores and actually like, you know, play the game, test stuff out. They'll show it to you before you buy it so you know that it works. Remember when we used to have that back in the West when you could go into a video game store and actually play the consoles and play the games?
अब कंसोल पे लोग अवेयरनेस की वजह से आ रहे हैं वरना पीसी के ऊपर बहुत लोगों ने खर्चा किया.
Okay, you're going upstairs. You're going upstairs. This is just a little too fucking ridiculous, okay? Yep. Yeah, you've wasted my patience. I'm not doing this. Alright, say goodbye to Gum Gum. Holy shit, dude. Sometimes he just doesn't fucking stop. Like, I don't even have, like, potato chips or something, you know, that's, like, special, and that makes a crinkly noise. It's tofu, rice, and some like curry chickpeas. And the cat's trying to eat this.
और आपके सामने जो जेल ब्रेक आ चुका है उसमें बहुत इजीली पड़ता है क्योंकि इसमें अगर आप ओरिजिनल खेलते हैं तो उसमें आपको ऑनलाइन सिस्टम अवेलेबल होता है विद अ गेम जैसे पबजी है इस तरह फोर्टनाइट है इस तरह GTA ऑनलाइन है ये अलग दुनिया है अगर आप जेल ब्रेक खेलेंगे तो ऑनलाइन सिस्टम ख़त्म हो जाएगा जो यानी कि बोलते हैं कि भाई हमें कैंपेज खेलना है स्टोरी मोड खेलना है तो वो जेल ब्रेक खेलते हैं
I just met a subscriber here. आपका शुद्ध नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम अली है।
आज आप क्या कर रहे हैं इस दुकान में?
आज मैं Xbox एक्सचेंज करने आया हूँ अपना।
अच्छा।
हाँ, रिपेयर करने सॉरी।
क्या हुआ आपका Xbox?
पावर इश्यूज।
अच्छा, the red ring of death? The three red lights?
No, it was an old version. This is the newer version, Xbox One S.
Oh, One S.
It has power supply issues.
Yeah. And what's your favorite game?
My favorite game is campaign is Red Dead Redemption or multiplayer is Warzone.
He's got good choices, Anna. Yes. You guys, I want to hear your favorite.
Red Dead Redemption 2 sucked dick. That was one of the most boring, fucking stupid, pointless games I've ever fucking played in my life. Anybody who actually likes Red Dead Redemption 2 is a fucking retard.
Games in the comments as well. And this is what the market looks like with the lights on. Ab videos convert kar rahe hain. You guys are doing that? Aye.
You talk English?
Yes, I can speak English. And you?
Oh. This is your uncle.
ठीक है.
Great uncle.
मैं ये
हम उर्दू में बात करेगा.
सही है. मैं उर्दू बोल सकता हूँ थोड़ी थोड़ी.
अरबी आती है? अरबी बोलो.
नहीं अरबी नहीं. 80s और 90s में ये मार्केट किसी होती थी?
ये मार्केट उस टाइम पे बहुत रूज पे थी और अच्छी वीडियो का दौर था और पूरे वर्ल्ड में ये मशहूर थी.
बॉलीवुड फिल्म्स भी?
जी.
ये कहाँ से पाकिस्तान आया?
पाकिस्तान से ये आती थी दुबई से.
अच्छा.
स्मगलर होके आती थी.
अच्छा.
Gaming has taken over here, and we'll see a lot more of that upstairs, but parts of the old piracy market are still alive, especially movies.
So surprisingly, there is still quite a lot of pirate movie sales happening here. And this is a new film from India, है ना?
जी.
ये फिल्म हिंदुस्तान से है ना?
जी, इंडियन मूवी है, नई आई है, धुरंधर.
ये रणवीर सिंह.
रणवीर सिंह.
And I can tell you a thing or two about Ranveer Singh. He's a Sindhi. His parents are from this, all his grandparents are from this city, I think, and they came across to India during partition. Yeah, very.
You know, it's so weird. Like, Pakistan and India don't get along, and then there's all these Pakistanis trying to watch Indian movies. Like, Osama bin Laden hated America, hated the West. They searched his computer. Tons of American movies, TV shows, including like, Japanese anime and stuff. Either him or his kids or other people who lived there were watching like DBZ, Naruto. I don't know like how people get it in their heads to like commit 9/11, but oh hey, let's watch the new fucking Disney fucking Marvel movie. It's so weird.
Very famous Sindhi guy in India. ये फिल्म कितने रुपए है?
ये 50 रुपीस की है सर.
50 रुपए?
जी.
सर, बहुत सस्ता है. और USB में?
USB में.
अच्छा.
अगर वैसे आप DVD लेंगे तो 300 की पड़ेगी आपको.
300 DVD के लिए. तो सब फिल्म्स 50 रुपए है.
50 रुपए USB के अंदर.
हाँ, समझ गया. तो अब क्या?
Trank the Fano donated 220. How's your stat and ST? That's normal. ApoB. Haven't gotten ApoB checked. I've only checked LDL, GGT. Haven't checked that. And CRP. Haven't actually checked CRP. I wouldn't expect it to be elevated. I did test my CRP when I was just on test, doing 210. It was the same as it was just normally. Testosterone doesn't seem to increase CRP, even at pretty high doses, like around 600 milligrams. I am on Buldnone, but like it's pretty low dose. I wouldn't expect that to really do anything to my CRP either. Has a steroid high from the first few months worn off or decreased slightly? No. Feel the same, basically. Definitely hornier now that I'm on more test. Basically, I just think about, like, fucking girls' asses all day. Speaking of androgenic, he needs RO update his tag to estrogenic. Is this the makeup video?
Dude, that was only 5 months ago. What the fuck?
I'm assuming he's like off cycle and not taking Retta. Thanks for the donation, Even Now. Or not, Frank Fafano. Even Now just donated. Let me see, Cats. Oh.
I don't like the way he's looking.
What is... Oh.
Out on the golf course.
Oh my god.
I don't like it. I don't like the way you two
What's
look
going on here?
right now. You look like you're up to something. It's 3 stories down. Don't get any ideas. You jump up there, Maui.
thinking about
and it'll be
stuff?
the last jump you ever make, little guy.
My god, they're both so round.
Bye. You're all making me real nervous right now.
My
Look.
goodness.
Look. Down there.
That's too high.
Come on, you want to come
It's
back
too high
inside
for
now?
little kitties.
Stop giving me little heart attacks. Come on. Come on, let's go.
My god, they're looking
All right,
outside.
you two need to get into the house. Maui, I need you.
My
Cat,
god, look
I
at
need
him
you to
looking
do
out
what
there.
Get it. Just forget it.
Those are some good cats. Thanks for the donation, Even Now.
Not to mention he had such a horrible taste in Disney movies. I mean, Chicken Little. Seriously.
I've never seen Chicken Little. I gotta try watching that. I remember seeing clips online of that movie, and it looked kind of funny to me. But I've never actually seen that movie. I really need to watch Zootopia 2, though. I really love Zootopia 1. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yeah, I've seen Indian movies.
बेचते हैं
मैं डाउनलोडिंग करता हूँ
अच्छा टॉरेंट से
मैं फिल्म में डालता हूँ
हाँ किसकी साइट से
मूवी बॉक्स
से ओके
वॉच ऑनलाइन
तो आप डाउनलोड करते हैं
फिर ग्राहकों को डालते हैं
अच्छा कितने रुपए हैं
एक फिल्म 20 रुपए
20 रुपए cheaper than that guy you gotta shop around man
thank you
there's a lot of clothing being sold down here but apparently
Yeah,
all the
Julie
video
Hopps is
games
cool.
are up on the next floor now but just imagine this entire market just used to be selling pirate movies and music back in the day look how many this guy has
वीडियो कैसेट इसको हम यूएसबी
Chicken Little was way better than that 50 Cent movie, Get Rich or Die Trying. They were at both release at the same time, and Chicken Little happens to surpass it in the box office. That's pretty funny. All right, maybe I gotta watch Chicken Little.
भी डीवीडी के अंदर में डालते हैं जैसे कि ये यूएसबी है इसको इसमें डाल के कन्वर्ट करते हैं लोग अपनी यादगार चीज़ लेकर आते हैं पुराने इनके अपने प्रोग्राम शादी ब्याह के हैं जिन
Aren't they coming out with a new that chicken fighter anime? Yeah, Rooster Fighter. Oh my god, they got a trailer?
いてくるな。俺はヘドが出るほどガキが嫌いなんだ。
捕まえて、お説教です。相変わらずね、刑事。ぶっ殺す。
家畜の無罪で俺とやろう。
Yeah, you gotta watch this.
全ての鍵はあの野郎だ。超絶トサカに来るぜ。おお、キーキャーキャー。
That looks great.
ごめん、足が滑った。
That looks fucking awesome.
इनकी अपनी मूवियों के होते हैं, वो कैमरे की कैसेटें भी ये लाते हैं।
Chicken Run's
छोटी
awesome. Go
कैसेट,
fuck
बड़ी
yourself.
कैसेट, ये जैसे हमारे पास ये लेकर आते लोग अपनी मूवी यादगार बनाने के लिए यूरोप से और दूसरी जगह से ये सारी चीज़ें, तो हम इसको देते बना के, तो ये लोग अपनी शादी ब्याह की मूवी को जो है मैरिज की जितनी भी है ये सालगिरह वगैरह की ये बनाते लोग ले जाते हैं अपनी कॉपी करके। तो हम इसको पाकिस्तान के अंदर में ये सिस्टम लगाया है, ये किसी के पास है नहीं, पुराना सिस्टम है, इसको हम चला रहे हैं।
I just keep finding amazing things along here. Let's go check out the video games upstairs.
You know, I can understand them being in like shitty buildings and stuff. No one seems to care at all about being organized in any way. Like, look at the fucking rat's nest of wires. They could, if they wanted to, organize this so it's not insane, but they just don't. It's like totally different kind of mindset.
I just keep finding amazing things along here. Let's go check out the video games upstairs. This is the gateway to heaven.
Have you ever seen Rockadoodle as a kid? That name kind of sounds familiar. No, I never saw this. I remember seeing like a trailer for it. I thought this looked fucking stupid. I didn't like the chicken's hair. It annoyed me. Like, I understood it was supposed to be like Elvis, but his hair like actually annoyed me.
Heaven. No, the stairway to heaven. Look at that. Video games as far as the eye can see, my friends. Oh my God. Wonderful, Anna. All these memory up here. When I was 6 or 7, my dad, he took me to the Commodore Amiga meetup at the Pakuranga Plaza at the library. And it just blew my mind. It was dudes with tables, and they had on their tables their computers and all their games, and they were swapping games, they were selling games, they were giving away shareware. And I just walked around just like this, just amazed. Just like these kids, you know, just amazed. Assalamu alaikum. Kya haal hai?
The hair was actually the chicken's comb painted black. Yeah, that's still stupid.
You're the goat man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the donation, the deserter.
आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं आज? ठीक है. And yeah, just like them, I was just walking around amazed, looking at the computers and the video game consoles. And yeah, that really got me interested in computers and video games. Because I was already gaming. I started gaming on my grandfather's Commodore 64 in the early 90s. And then after some years, my dad, he brought us an Amiga 600. And I was playing like Cannon Fodder, Lemmings, California games. And I was just a computer addict from then. And eventually it led me to like, obviously I'm a console gamer now. I was a hardcore Xbox gamer for so long, but I've kind of lost, Xbox has lost its way, right? Now I'm more on the PlayStation team. But it led me to even studying computer science, you know, those early years when my dad would take me to that computer market at the library. Yeah, incredible. So that's how I feel. I just feel nostalgic to be back here, and it reminds me of the early days back in New Zealand. The comments, where did your video game journey start? What was your first game? Let me know in the comments. Oh, this guy's got God of War.
First video game. I remember I used to play, yeah, the first video game that I can ever remember playing was either Wolfenstein 3D or there was that fighting game for DOS. It was with the Chinese fighters.
Have you ever visited Philadelphia?
Yeah, Songo Fighter. Yeah, it was either Wolfenstein 3D or Songo Fighter for DOS. Or wait, might not have even been this. No, I think it was a different one. I know I can find it. I think it had a weird name.
Do an impression of Osama bin Laden yelling at his soldiers for interrupting him while he is sitting in his man cave trying to watch Chicken Little.
I'm trying to watch Chicken Little. Can you keep quiet?
There you go. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Have I ever visited Philadelphia? No, I have not. Thanks for the donation, Speed Racer. I think it was something of the kingdom. It was something like that. Why the fuck? DOS fighting game of the kingdom? Something like that. Maybe it was Songo Fighter. DOS fighting game. Chinese characters. Songo Fighter. Yeah, no, it was Songo Fighter. Yeah, it was Songo Fighter. I always played as this guy, whoever the fuck he is. The green, and he had the spear. Yeah, so it was either the first video game that I recall ever playing was either Songo Fighter or Wolfenstein 3D. And then, like, I ended up playing Doom and shit. Dodo $2. Is it a cover-up or is it just incompetence? Because I could believe it's just incompetence.
Responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr. Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So
Yes.
I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that? It's
Here's
a political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my answer
Yeah,
on that.
we'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40
Chairman.
minutes, you asked me a question.
You can
Within
give me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
and
Okay.
we invited you in.
Gentlemen.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
I
get
want
on
you to
his
watch
mouth.
That was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. Like, that had to have been, like, the worst performance I've ever seen in front of Congress. And it's not incompetence, it's...
A lot of men
They're incompetent, but they do this shit deliberately.
will have girlfriends that have children, and they feel that the father of said children should absolutely be paying child support. Absolutely. But when it comes to the mother of that man's children, child, whatever, they shouldn't be getting child support because they're just a bunch of money-hungry whores, and they're
Yeah, you are.
just gonna take my money and spend it on whatever and blah blah blah. What is that exactly? I mean, Lord forbid that
Single mothers are, like, probably the most entitled group of people on planet Earth.
in this economy that a decent mom might actually need some help, that she's not going and paying bar tabs or blowing the money on things that are not actually important, but is completely using that money for the children,
Yeah, here we go.
or to keep a roof over their head. Like, what is it? Is it as long as you're sleeping with her, it's okay if she gets child support? I just, that's gonna ruffle some feathers, and I'm
There's data on this. You can see how things like spousal support laws, child custody laws, if they change in favor of the woman, you see divorce rates skyrocket. When those things change in, like, it's hard to even say in favor of the man. When things just become more fair, you see the opposite. You see divorce rates plummet. Just recently, there was an American state, I think it might have been Kansas or something. They changed their divorce, like their child custody laws, where it's assumed from the get-go that both parents should have 50-50 custody. Before, it was assumed women should get full custody and the man would have to fight in court to get a proportion of custody that he thinks would be fair or appropriate for the kid. After they did that, after women had to, like, actually fight in court for full custody, divorce rates, I think, declined by like 40%. That's just one regulation. Like, it's so women, like, take advantage of the shit. Like, it's all a fucking game to them. And by the way, when you have joint custody, they don't get as much child support. So child support payments are based on, like, what amount of custody you have over the kid. So if you have 100% custody, you're going to be able to argue for a lot more child support in court. If it's only 50-50 custody, then you don't get anywhere near as much. Like, it's at least cut in half. So again, like, that's another motivating factor for women to just leave a relationship for absolutely no fucking reason. Because they're not going to, like, get anything at the end of it. A British Green Party politician is calling on British kids to send Valentine's Day cards to the illegal migrants being housed in asylum centers. To share the love? Oh, this woman's crazy. I've seen her before. Like, this is a, like, whack job bitch.
My grandchildren and I painted some cards, Valentine cards, at the weekend, which we are going to be presenting to the men in the camp at Crowborough as a welcome. And I urge us all across the county as representatives, as members of our local community, to stand with all those who, who want to share the love.
It's funny how she mentioned the men. Like, doesn't anybody find that suspicious that it's all men who are supposedly these asylum seekers? Like, very seldom any women. Like, they're clearly not seeking asylum. I can guarantee you at least 90%, like at least 90% of these people are not asylum seekers. It's probably closer to like 95 or 98%. But yeah, the fact that they're all men, they're all, you know, between the age of like 20, 30, like it's obvious what's going on here.
And I went to Vietnam for a couple of days, and I spent 2 more days than he did there. You know, he was never there. Said he was a...
What the fuck? Yeah, Grok. No, Trump didn't serve in the Vietnam War. He received 5 draft deferments. He has visited Vietnam as president for APEC in 2017 and a summit 2019. No records show him going during the war era. Who knows? He's probably just lying and whatever. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Body IQ $22. Do you think there was foul play involved with Leon Longevity's death? Tony Hughes is sus. What seems to be the most likely scenario is Leo and Longevity is a woman-abusing, fucking intolerable asshole. He ended up beating a prostitute that was at his apartment, and that girl told her pimp, who is like a hardcore gang member, what happened. And that gang showed up at his house and fucking murdered his ass. And Tony and Connor probably caught wind of what was going on, that he was going to get assassinated. And they just didn't tell the police, didn't warn Leo, probably because they didn't like him and they were fed up with his bullshit. And he was probably causing trouble for them too, because Tony also really likes prostitutes. So if this asshole is beating up prostitutes and they're both getting prostitutes from, you know, the same gang, I could imagine some of that being an issue for Tony. So they probably just let what was going to happen, and then they just bullshitted and said, I didn't hear anything. Whoa, what was going on? I heard a few noises, but I didn't hear anything like strange, you know? And like, he just left like being kept alone. So, you know, I didn't want to intrude on his privacy. So like, you know, that's probably what happened. I don't blame them for letting that guy just get murdered by like some Thai gang. He's just a fucking cunt. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Oh, the Trump derangement card, jeez. I am so sick of that classic excuse.
Or not, Dodo. Ooh, did somebody donate that, or? Yeah, Body IQ. My bad. Trump derangement. Yeah, I mean, that was super fucking cringe. The entire thing was just cringe. She was just constantly trying to find a way out. Dodo $22 man went home, and when his wife asked how was work, he said good. Yeah, probably. I'd be pretty happy if I could fucking just take out like the scum of society. Mamdani calls for 0 charges against man who tried killing cops responding to a call.
The Queen's District Attorney is expected to bring charges against Javed Chakrabarti later today. I'm just wondering if you knew, if you talked to the Queen District Attorney about that, if you talked to the family. I'm curious what you would say about it.
So I think I caught the bulk of your question. I have not directly spoken with the district attorney. I will say, however, that no family should have to endure this kind of pain. What they need right now is care, dignity, and support. Jabez should not be prosecuted by the Queen's District Attorney. His handcuffs should be removed.
The Queen's District Attorney is
This is real. Mayor Zoran Mamdani stated on February 5th, 2026 that Jabez Chakraborty, shot by NYPD during a mental health crisis, should not face charges and his handcuffs should be removed. Advocating for treatment instead. Yeah, here we fucking... Dude, let me see this. Oh, wait, Facebook. Fucking stupid.
Good evening. I'm Christine Johnson. One call that brought them to the scene. As Doug Williams reports, the NYPD and the family of the man who was
Oh, have we seen this? Wasn't this the kid that was being like an insane asshole?
shot believe the 911 call proves 2 different things.
Okay. The guy had a knife. Fuck right off.
Believe the 911 call proves 2 different things.
We want involuntary transportation.
In the NYPD released 911 call from Monday of last week, a family member of Jabez Chakraborty asked the operator for involuntary transportation in an ambulance, later seeming to state they've had to make similar calls before.
Last time when something like this happened, we called for the cops, and they said we should have called for an ambulance instead. Well, normally both parties respond whenever you...
The NYPD telling us Wednesday that any 911 call for an involuntary transport automatically triggers a police response. The NYPD previously released body cam video that appears to show
When the guy walked through the door, the guy had a knife in his hands. Like, they clearly did not escalate things. The guy already had a knife in his hands.
Chakraborty grabbing a knife and advancing towards police shortly after they enter the home.
Put the knife down! Put the knife down!
When Chakraborty advances past a door that police had closed behind them, 4 shots were then fired. Chakraborty remains in the hospital. In a statement Wednesday, his family
That is totally reasonable.
saying instead of the medical care they were seeking, the responding officers, quote, caused the situation to escalate quickly and unnecessarily.
Okay, like, this is insane. Even if this guy has a history of mental health issues, that doesn't mean he's not accountable for his actions. There's a difference between being mentally ill, which you can define in any number of ways. You could say somebody who is just a psychopath and has absolutely no empathy for anybody. It has like some form of mental illness because like it is debilitating in a lot of ways. Does that mean they're not responsible for their actions? Like if they decide to like rape and kill a fucking 9-year-old girl, oh, well, he should receive treatment, not punishment. Like if they know they're not supposed to do it and they did it anyways, then that's all that's needed for them to be held accountable for their actions. So I don't know what kind of problems this guy has, but he like the idea that like Mamdani can just say this guy shouldn't be prosecuted, he should have the handcuffs removed before knowing even like what mental health issues this guy even has, whether or not he could be held responsible for his actions. That's something that's decided in court. So like this guy is literally saying before any trial has even begun that let's just let the criminals out. Don't even bother prosecuting them. Like, if there is a genuine argument that this guy is so mentally ill that he's not responsible for his actions, that's something that's decided by the court anyway. Like, this guy is fucking crazy. If this dude is able to actually, like affect the police force, like, New York is actually fucked. There's gonna be a huge fucking spike in violent crime. Just like in Canada, because we also love just letting criminals do whatever they fucking want. It's like a meatloaf. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Whose thing is this? Dr. Vegan. Let's sub to him. Oh. My goodness, kitties. Wow. Oh. Oh, a bee. Oh. Wow, he's trying to just touch the bee. They're so sentient. Wow. You can tell they're looking at things. Alright, thanks for the donation, Dodo.
You know, VG, on second thought, maybe is the perfect film for Osama bin Laden because he relates to a character like Chicken Little because, much like him, he most likely is delusional enough to believe that the sky is falling.
Yeah, maybe. That makes sense. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. 21st donated $2.
OpenAI says Chinese chatbot DeepSeek used U.S. models to train its own AI. OpenAI told U.S. lawmakers that DeepSeek is copying U.S. models for...
I'm going to ask Chinese AI company DeepSeek used U.S. models for... Well, yeah.
Distillation training, effectively, quote, free riding.
Well, like, dude, it's retarded that OpenAI is saying this. Like, you're called OpenAI.
OpenAI and other firms. The company says DeepSeek employees bypassed access restrictions and extracted key training data. DeepSeek has not yet responded to requests for comment. ChatGPT maker OpenAI says Chinese chatbot DeepSeek...
Man, I hate it when I fucking do that. Yeah. I spilled curry on myself. Yeah, well, we already knew they did that. It's kind of weird that these AI companies even argue for, like, patent infringement and shit when they steal so much copyrighted data.
Economy will grow much faster with AI than I think it ever has before. I think we may get 10 or 20% per year growth in the economy, but we're not going to get 300% growth in the economy. I am worried geographically, though. I'm a little worried that, like, just proximity to AI, having heard about AI, that may be one differentiator. And so when I said the 10 or 20% growth rate, a worry I have is that the growth rate could be like 50% in Silicon Valley and, parts of the world that are kind of socially connected to Silicon Valley and, not that much faster than it's current.
I don't care what that dork is saying.
If this indeed happens, this would be groundbreaking, almost mind-blowing to a North Korea that's so male-dominated. Yes, Kim Jong-un's de facto number 2 is his sister, Kim Yo-jong, who's a regime mouthpiece and speaks publicly out against the US and South Korea. But we've never seen, over the decades, North Korea handing the reins, handing the power to a woman. Her name is Kim Ju-ae, though that's not ever been officially confirmed by the North Koreans. She's often by her father's side, but Pyongyang has never officially confirmed her age, her name, and certainly what type of formal role she might be taking in the North Korean government. She's believed to be 13 years old, and she's played an increasingly important role in North Korea's public image. She even joined her father when he traveled to Beijing for a Chinese military parade, and notably stood directly behind her father in front of the country's foreign minister. Just shows the level of prominence she has in North Korea at this moment. She seems very comfortable around the North Korean people. She is affable with her father and her mother, and this is a transformation of sorts for her. We first caught a glimpse of her in a white puffer jacket. She was holding her dad's hand, and she was a little girl. And in the space of the past 3-4 years, we've seen her evolve into something different. She's taller, she's thinner. She now wears pantsuits and heels, and she gives.
I have a funny feeling that if they elect a female leader, pretty much everyone is going to not believe in the institution anymore, and you're probably going to end up seeing that Kim regime fall.
Off this regal appearance. Kim Jong-un, by all indications, at least what we can see publicly, loves his daughter. He's smitten with her. He is often seen laughing, smiling. She whispers in his ear. They seem very close. And that's the central question here. Is Kim Jong-un a loving, doting father who wants to bring his daughter along to every single site visit, missile test, even overseas diplomacy? Or is this strategic somehow, where he's setting in motion the things his daughter needs to do and be seen as being able to do?
All right, well, thanks for the donation, 21st.
Also, mental illness is no excuse for sick behavior.
Yes, that is true. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
On the screen here. Assalamu alaikum ji. कैसे आप? आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? ठीक कर रहे हैं? अच्छा. और God of War खेल रहे हैं? Okay, so in this market I've realized there's like the fancy stores, the nice, bright, fancy stores, wall to wall of games. But if you come down these lanes, you're going to find, they're far less modern, the more traditional stores. And in them, you're going to find really old
I
stuff.
might stop getting this lentil doll. I found another big fucking rock. Yeah, I'm gonna probably chip a tooth eating this shit. That's the second time that's happened in only a few weeks.
Really old games. You might find a gym.
Dodo, donate $2. Let me see. State Department identifies Code Pink and other far-left groups as vectors of Chinese influence operations. Yeah, walls are closing in for you, bitch. Not aligned with U.S. genocidal partner. Yeah. I hope they, take another fucking trip to China and get their fucking organs stolen. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Who cares if Kim Jong is a loving father? He is still a worthless piece of shit.
That is true. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Gym in there. You might find something rare if you take the time to look for these. Because there's just a wall of games here, old retro games. Okay, third floor's parking, and then you've got apartments up the top here. And, this guy's selling cold drinks. I'm gonna have to change the numbers here because there's must be 30 or 40 shops here now, and 5 or 6 of them are repair stores. This one, MK Repairing Center. आप क्या कर रहे हैं?
ये पोकेमॉन कार्ड है, तो सेलिंग के लिए मैं लगा रहा हूँ।
अच्छा।
बस नॉट ओरिजिनल।
Oh, okay. That's first copy.
Yeah, first copy.
Okay, first copy Pokemon card. So you can buy like the whole set.
Yeah.
Wow. कितने रुपए हैं whole set?
4,000.
4,000.
Yeah.
Nice man, nice. Cool. And what? क्या और बेचते हैं?
Toys हैं, books हैं.
Wow. PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah.
So many PlayStation 2 games. There's hundreds here.
PS2 is
Holy
dope.
moly. And the Wii games.
Yeah.
अरे यार.
Wii, Xbox 360, PS2.
It's like a gold mine in here. And then here there's, oh my god, a whole wall of Xbox 360 games. Indiana Jones, Lego, Mass Effect. Mass Effect is incredible. Gears of War. Amazing. Acha. Fun, basically. CD, DVD.
Oh, cat.
Scratch.
Oh.
पीसी
Oh, that is
अभी
a
खाना आया
special
नहीं
cat.
वेट
भूख लग रही है?
हाँ
भूख लग रही है, Billy?
It's here 4K.
Oh my god, there's walls. There's walls of movies. Oh my god, man. Is this one of the last remaining movie shops?
Yeah.
Henna? Oh wow. Collectors. The movie collectors of Pakistan will be coming to this store and मैंने खाना खाया शुक्रिया जी शुक्रिया he just invited me for lunch अच्छा आदमी shop and they're selling game installations here for all consoles.
6. The man the FBI tried to hide.
The 3 million files released by the Department of Justice last week was an email from Jess Staley, the former CEO of Barclays, that perfectly captures the contempt the people implicated in the Epstein files had for ordinary people. In February 2014, while riots were erupting in Brazil over the spiraling cost of living and the billions being wasted on the FIFA World Cup, Staley sent a message to his friend Jeffrey Epstein, writing, "You want to know why we're not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks in hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z." It's a remarkably blunt admission of the disdain this circle had for the public. They saw a population so easily distracted by televised entertainment that they would ignore the fact that the people sending these emails were busy treating the world as their private playground. This is why people are now using the term the Epstein class to describe a protected tier of wealthy individuals who seem to operate under a completely different set of rules to everyone else. The sheer arrogance of this group was on full display this week during an interview on LBC Radio with a woman named
I'm getting it's a lentil soup, basically, so I can't strain the lentils, because then that would ruin the soup.
Lady Victoria Hervey, who was a former girlfriend of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Andrew, of course, is the man who, despite all the young girls he kissed, managed to transform from a prince into a frog after his brother King Charles III stripped him of his titles and honours last year. Hervey suggested to the host that because Jeffrey Epstein knew everybody that was very powerful, not being named in the files should actually be considered an insult. She claimed that if your name isn't there, it simply means you're a bit of a loser. The radio host responded, "That's an astonishing attitude. I find that jaw-dropping," after Hervey confirmed with a laugh that her name had indeed come up in the files. I, of course, had to check for myself, and she is mentioned at least 20 times, mostly for her tweets and social photographs, including images of her with the US president and even the head of the FBI. This combination of absolute disdain for regular people, the fact that...
Also, speaking of Cod Pink, that old bitch did an interview with Chris Hedges. Can we react to it?
No. I'd rather not get a headache or go insane or go into like some sort of blackout psychotic rage. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
That so many of these figures still occupy key roles in society, and the public realization that a cover-up is still being actively maintained, has turned these documents into a political explosion. While the distractions are keeping many occupied, a bipartisan group in Congress has finally started calling out the names that were never supposed to be redacted. While the Department of Justice points to the 3.5 million documents released as
You know, I really wonder that, like, for a while, probably started like late 1980s. I like, there was that idea going around where there are these like elite group of pedophiles. Like, there's gotta be like some sort of leak from that group where they blabbed about it, you know, like somebody blabbed about it, and like that's how like the idea got out there. Because it's weird. Like, there literally is a weird elite fucking billionaire pedophile ring.
Proof of their commitment to transparency, the members of Congress who wrote the law have described the situation as a farce. An obvious issue is that the Department of Justice originally identified over 6 million documents as falling under the Act, yet only about half of that number have actually made it into the public domain. When we look into the files, we can see an FBI email from June 2020 where an investigator wrote that they expect the data collected to be between 20 and 40 terabytes. So far, only 300 gigabytes of data has been released, about 1.5% of the total collected. The missing data isn't just redundant paperwork, it's at the heart of the investigation. Congressmen have demanded the release of the FBI FD 302 victim interview statements. These are detailed written summaries of interviews conducted by FBI agents with witnesses, victims, and associates in criminal cases. These documents provide a summary of what victims told the government before potential plea deals, years of legal delays, or the case became national news, offering a direct view into what the Justice Department knew early on. There appears to be only one FD 302 statement in the files that have been released, and it's almost entirely blacked out. The files that have been made available lack the most basic investigative context. We see reports of criminal behavior, but no notes from investigators indicating whether these reports were ever followed up on, whether anyone was interviewed, or why certain leads were rejected as being false or unreliable. We know that Jeffrey Epstein was first reported to the FBI by the Farmer sisters 30 years ago, but the records of what the Bureau actually did with that information remain entirely hidden. This tension came to a head on Monday, when a small group of lawmakers became the first to enter a secure office to view the unredacted versions of these files. Among them were the bill's co-sponsors, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, who spent 2 hours in a room without phones or staff, allowed only to take handwritten notes. Before we dig into their findings, let me tell you about this week's video sponsor, Saley, an eSIM provider who makes it incredibly easy to travel and stay connected without having to pay. Automatically connects to a local.
Gasmanik.
Okay, thanks for the donation.
Inadequate to begin with, especially when there are 3.5 million files to go through. Representative Jamie Raskin calculated that with just 4 computers, it would take the legislative branch 7.5 years to go through the whole archive. What the congressmen found in less than 2 hours of research confirmed their worst suspicions. Despite the law's strict limits on redactions, the files that they were viewing, the supposedly unredacted ones, were still full of black ink. Massie and Khanna learned that the FBI had already scrubbed many of the records before they even reached the DOJ lawyers, a move that directly violated the Epstein Files Transparency Act. In just those 2 hours, the pair identified at least 6 men who the FBI at one point were concerned.
There's just no way. There are people that are connected with the government who are trying to hide, their guilt, namely Trump, and I'm sure there's others.
Were Epstein co-conspirators, whose identities had been inappropriately hidden for no apparent legal reason. Khanna later noted the absurdity of the situation. If 2 members of Congress could uncover a cover-up for 6 prominent men in just 2 hours, it raises a terrifying question about what is still being hidden in the millions of pages they didn't have time to examine. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi appeared in front of the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee on Wednesday to defend the Justice Department's handling of the files, which quickly descended into a shouting match. While many were distracted by the insults being fired back and forth, a Reuters photographer captured this image of a page from Pam Bondi's prepared book of insults, which she used to counter any questions from lawmakers. This photo demonstrates that the DOJ monitored members of Congress's searches of the unredacted Epstein files, implying that Bondi has put more effort into investigating the people reading the files rather than those suspected of child abuse in the files.
That is crazy. Son Goku donators ever consider getting into Jujutsu Kaisen, Dan or Kingdom? I've been watching Dan. Yeah, I saw all of season 2. The one thing that annoyed me with season 2 was there was a lot of male nudity. The first season had a lot of nice schoolgirl panty shots, you know? Yeah, in season 2, there was just a lot of dudes' butts. But season 2 is still good, but yeah, I don't know why they shifted from girls' panties to like dudes' butts. I started watching Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm probably gonna primarily watch it while I do cardio. I haven't heard of Kingdom. Is there a large animal that's about to get a snack? Want to see a shark eater. Oh, she can't get up? Yeah, I could see how you could die. You can definitely get smashed up against a rock with waves like that. Yeah, that definitely looks dangerous. Ooh. Yeah, she's way over there now. Well, oh. Looks like it's goodbye. Oh. Not quite. She gonna get carried out? If I had to tread water for a prolonged period of time, I'd die. I sink like a rock. So if I ever got caught out in the ocean, like, I'd be fucking dead for sure. Thanks for the donation, though, Sengoku.
Look at how much of a whipped simp Ludwig is. This clip summarizes who has the power, that's for sure. Thirsty as fuck. The gay bald guy is so fucking cringe too.
Oh yeah, Ludwig.
He's obsessed with you.
Not the same way. Not the same way.
I mean, it's not supposed to be, right?
Yeah, definitely. But it's just he would call me and just like I would be like, oh, I'm busy, and he's like, oh, I'll just listen.
No.
Yeah, and so I'd be at work.
He just wanted to hang out?
He'd be on my AirPods while I'd be answering calls at work.
No.
Yeah.
That is actually so adorable.
Yeah, it was very cute.
If he get, yeah, I know,
Very
right?
cute.
He's a prick.
He was. I think his game was being persistent. Yeah. That was his game, and it worked. It worked for him.
Wow.
It was very good.
Ugh. Jeez. Why do they even get in situations like this? Like, it's so weird too, because like Ludwig is in a position now where there has to be like so many fucking legal age like young girls in his audience, like, you know, I don't know what state he lives in, but like, you know, 17, 18 plus, something like that. And then girls in their young 20s. Like, why the fuck would you stay with this like dumb bitch? Thanks for the donation, the unicorn jizz.
You spending this Valentine's alone, again, the second time in a row? No fat man, I mean sledge ass man, I mean you know who to keep you company? Are you going to be okay? Did you used to celebrate Valentine's together or did you do nothing, historically?
I don't really have much to comment on that because who cares? But, yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
There's obviously no legitimate investigative purpose for the DOJ to be tracking the oversight activities of the legislative branch for the purposes of weaponizing that information for political point scoring. The DOJ has no legitimate reason to secretly track what members of Congress who have oversight authority over the Justice Department are searching. The craziest moment of the testimony came when Bondi was pressed on why the DOJ was protecting potential co-conspirators. Instead of answering the question she was asked, she pivoted to a rant about the rising stock market.
The Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans 401...
I was watching some of that while it was live, and I was like, what the fuck? Just talking about, like, the fucking economy?
401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
Now, that would have been a great answer if Pam Bondi headed up the Department of the Stock Market, but instead she heads up the Department of Justice. It's a bold strategy to say it's okay that we're hiding sex traffickers because your 401k is up. Apparently, in the current Justice Department, a bull market is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. On Monday, after spending 2 hours in the secure evidence room, Congressmen Massey and Khanna emerged and spoke to the press, expressing their deep disappointment with how the redactions had been handled. They revealed that they had identified at least half a dozen men who were being protected by over-redactions, individuals they believed were potentially incriminated by their inclusion in the files, and names that should have been...
Stefania Ferrario didn't want to spend Valentine's Day with you? Does she have a boyfriend now or something, or how come you stopped pursuing her? Did you realize that she's a woman? Is that why you stopped going after her? She's also fat too.
I'm just gonna keep some of these things private. But thanks for the donation, 21st. Like, she is in Australia, so...
left unredacted by the DOJ in compliance with the law. The lawmakers initially gave the Justice Department a chance to fix the mistake, but when the department remained evasive, Ro Khanna took to the House floor the following day. Using the speech or debate clause of the Constitution, which allows lawmakers to speak freely without the threat of defamation lawsuits, he read the 6 names into the congressional record, unmasking the individuals the FBI and DOJ had tried to keep in the shadows. The first name is Leslie Wexner. The 88-year-old billionaire behind Victoria's Secret was more than just an associate of Epstein's. He was the man responsible for most of Epstein's wealth. While their ties were already known, the bombshell here was that an internal FBI document, which the DOJ had inappropriately redacted, explicitly listed Wexner as a potential co-conspirator. Wexner's legal team maintains that he was viewed only as a source of information and never as a target. The second name is Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the CEO of the global logistics giant DP World. The unredacted record...
Dude, Menno Henselmans is a fucking gay-ass retard.
News, animal proteins beat plant proteins for muscle and strength according to a new meta-analysis posted by Menno. Time for school. Now, there are several issues here that clearly demonstrate his animal protein bias. Firstly, the analysis found no significant difference between animal and plant protein for muscle strength or physical performance. So I don't understand why the title of his post says animal proteins beat plants for muscle and strength when the study itself found no difference in strength outcomes. Secondly, the superiority claims largely come from the finding that animal proteins led to a slightly more muscle mass, and according to Menno, these were...
Did you break up with Stefania over her support of Palestine and she didn't like how you support Israel? You said you don't care if she supports Palestine. So it must be that she broke up with you. Her and her friend group don't like Zionists.
I don't know if she's pro-Palestine. I never talked about... Maybe I did. I can't remember. I have no idea if she has an issue with it. Like, she still likes my Instagram posts, so... I haven't talked to her in, like, maybe a month. Thanks for the donation, though, 21st.
Were matched for total protein and calorie intake. However, if you actually look at the individual studies, they were not all matched for total protein or calorie intake. Secondly, this study that was actually included in the meta-analysis by Neil Barnard actually shows that by week 14, the plant-based group was consuming 42 grams of protein a day compared to 65 in the control group. That's a huge difference between groups, so clearly not all of the studies were matched for total protein. Now, if you look at the forest plot for muscle mass outcomes, most of the studies showed no difference between animal and plant protein. But there is one study that significantly shifted the pooled effect responsible for the conclusions of this meta-analysis. And it was this study by Lee in 2016. And there are several issues with including this study in the meta-analysis. 1, it was on older adults. 2, it was a weight loss intervention. 3, it didn't incorporate any resistance training as part of...
Let me get this straight. Nigger broke up with Redacted because according to him she's a grandma, she's fat, annoying, she's a female. Months later he tried to get with another girl who is the same age, is also fat, and is anti-Zionist.
That is not what happened. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Its design, and 4, it didn't even measure muscle mass directly, it measured fat-free mass, which can obviously differ based on glycogen and water shifts.
Well, and bone mineral density and shit, like, it's fucking stupid.
And yet, in the various forest plots, it's being treated equally to resistance training hypertrophy trials in young adults. And this is a huge problem because
Menno Henselman is just a fucking dumbass when it comes to nutrition. And I love how this fucking, like, little beta male faggot who's, like, too afraid to take testosterone.
we know,
Like, I mog him. I mogged him when I was natural. Like, give me a fucking break. You're an idiot.
that resistance training is far more important than your diet for retaining muscle mass when in a deficit. And yes, there is likely a superiority effect of animal protein when the total protein is low. But when the total protein is actually matched and sufficient enough above the 1.2 to 1.4 grams per kilogram of protein per day mark, like we see in several randomized control trials, then the differences in strength and muscle outcomes are basically non-existent. So Menno once again posting misleading and clickbaity animal protein content, hoping his followers aren't smart enough to spot it. Class of mess.
Well, his followers are like fucking dumbass retards. All dumb fuck dipshit fucktards are watching those like science-based lifting channels.
Records reveal a series of explicit emails between Suleyman and Epstein, dated as late as 2019, years after Epstein's first conviction. Most disturbing is an email Epstein sent to the Sultan in which he wrote that he loved the torture video. We currently have no information on what that video depicted. As for the other 4 names, we have to be extremely careful with identification. While Ro Khanna read them out, most major news organizations have struggled to confirm their backgrounds. One of these names was Nicola Caputo. While an Italian politician bears this name, there's no verified evidence linking him to Epstein. Congressman Thomas Massie has cautioned that the person in the files is likely not the former MEP. According to Massie, the birth year for the Nicola Caputo in the files suggests...
Oh yeah, my bad, you're right. Redacted broke up with you, not the other way around. Sorry, I forgot that because all you do is complain about how she was a horrible spouse yet didn't take any action and she had to break up with you. Absolute fucking cuck.
That's not exactly what happened. But thanks for the donation, dude.
Suggests that he's more than 10 years older than
That's
the
funny.
Italian
She's the one
politician,
asking
who
for
has
me
himself
back.
flatly denied any involvement.
So
The
what
names
does that tell
Salvatore
you?
Novara, Zurab Michaeliza, and Leonid Leonev appear in the files alongside their photographs. However, their specific roles or connections to Epstein's operation have not yet been established. While the mainstream press has struggled to identify who these people are, investigative reports from Times Now News have started to fill in some of the blanks. According to them, Salvatore Nuara could be a former NYPD detective who was reportedly once investigated in connection with an illegal escort service that's believed to be unconnected to Epstein. His name also appears in Epstein's address book. Leonid Leonov and Zurab Michaelazzi are described as international business figures whose names appear in NYPD investigative files spanning nearly 2 decades, with references to files from 2003, 2009, 2018, and 2021. Now, we must be clear here, appearing in these files does not prove criminal guilt. But as Ro Khanna pointed out, the real scandal isn't just that these men are in the files, it's that the government went to such lengths to make sure their names were never disclosed, despite the fact that the law required their disclosure. When Ro Khanna read Leslie Wexner's name on the House floor, he wasn't just identifying a business associate.
So many of these people know each other too. I'm sure one of the reasons for all these redactions is because it would make it very easy for an investigator to draw like links between other people and then prove that they were also involved with Epstein. So much of this shit is just so fucking weird.
He was identifying the man whose resources essentially built the entire Epstein operation. For decades, Wexner was Epstein's only known major financial client. Starting in 1991, Wexner granted Epstein a full power of attorney, giving Epstein complete control over his vast personal fortune. Now, a power of attorney is a somewhat standard tool, but it's typically used for specific limited transactions, such as giving a financial advisor the right to trade stocks on your behalf, or to make specific decisions for a client if they're incapacitated. It's almost unheard of for a billionaire in full command of his faculties to hand over such sweeping, unchecked rights to a financial advisor, especially one he's not known for very long. This arrangement allowed Epstein to act as Wexner's legal alter ego, with virtually no oversight. Epstein appears to have taken full advantage of this, frequently buying property on behalf of the Wexners and then selling it to himself for a fraction of the price. This is how Epstein acquired his famous Manhattan townhouse and even a private plane, both purchased from Wexner at deeply discounted prices. For years, the narrative from the Wexner camp was that he had been a victim of a master manipulator who stole hundreds of millions of dollars from him. But the newly unredacted files reveal a $100 million complication. In 2008, the exact same year Epstein was in a Florida jail for soliciting sex from a minor, Epstein reportedly paid Wexner a $100 million private settlement. According to the report from U.S. prosecutors, this massive repayment was kept quiet because the Wexners didn't want to bring unnecessary public attention to the issue. It's a staggering amount of money to change hands in the shadows while one party is serving a jail sentence for sex crime.
Yes, I am Gummy's dad. I am Cat Dad. I was thinking of actually getting a good custom costume built and calling myself Cat Dad. Like making that a character. My elbow still hurts.
Crimes against a minor. For years, Wexner's legal team has told the public that the Department of Justice viewed him merely as a source of information and explicitly not a target. But the newly unredacted files reveal a massive disconnect. Inside an internal FBI document from 2019, the very one the DOJ tried to keep hidden, the Bureau explicitly listed Leslie Wexner as a potential co-conspirator in a child sex trafficking investigation. We don't actually know the department's specific reasoning for redacting his name, as under the law, they were only supposed to redact the names of victims. But this is the exact kind of inconsistency that has turned these files into a political lightning rod. While the American government was busy redacting names, other countries were actually paying attention. The second name Ro Khanna unmasked was Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the 71-year-old CEO of the global logistics giant DP World. The file showed that bin Sulayem's final message to Epstein was sent on the day of Epstein's arrest in 2019. It contained an attachment that we can't open. The messages between them were not just professional messages. They were unusually personal and, frankly, disturbing. They traded images of women that they were involved with and shared contact lists for escort and massage services across various cities. Most damningly, the files detail bin Sulayem helping to arrange training for a masseuse from Epstein's private spa. In a September 2015 exchange, he emailed Epstein to describe a renewed relationship with a foreign exchange student in Dubai in intimate and boastful terms. The email chain where Epstein tells the Sultan, "I loved the torture video," seems to have gotten the most attention and seems to have been the break.
Yes, VG, make a Cat Daddy shirt. I would love to see that.
Yes, that would be good. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Breaking point. We still don't know what that video he was referring to depicted, but we now know the consequences of being linked to it. As I'm sitting down to record this, the FT just reported that bin Sulayem has been replaced as chair and CEO of DP World. The Dubai government didn't actually mention him by name in their press release. They just announced the names of the people replacing him.
That is funny. Get fucked.
This comes after massive pressure from international.
LOLWTF, said she's asking for you back. You mean like 12 months ago or like recently? What did you say to her in response?
No, it was recent. I think it was on Christmas. I blocked her. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Partners like Canada's La Caisse and the UK's British International Investment, both of whom froze billions in future deals with the group until required actions were taken by the group. It turns out that in most of the world, being a most trusted friend of Jeffrey Epstein has now become a terminal liability. It's a stunning fall from grace for a man who's often credited with helping to build modern Dubai, and it happened because international pension funds have a lower tolerance for torture videos than the US Department of Justice does. This pattern of the DOJ saying one thing in public while the files suggest something else isn't limited to American billionaires. It extends to the very heart of the British establishment too. The files reveal that Lord Peter Mandelson, a former British government minister, appears to have shared sensitive confidential government information with Epstein regarding the Eurozone crisis. Mandelson also reportedly offered advice on how JP Morgan Chase, one of Epstein's key banking links, might lobby the British government. This raises an obvious question. Did Epstein use this inside information to trade? We don't know because the FBI has released almost none of Epstein's financial information, and there's no evidence that they ever investigated Mandelson for these leaks. We see this same investigative vacuum when it comes to the former Prince Andrew, whose title has been stripped away and now he's just known as Andy the Nonce. The files contain photographs and a short video clip of Andy with what appears to be a teenage girl, yet they offer zero information on whether he was investigated by US law enforcement. There are no notes provided, no interview transcripts, and no explanation as to why these leads were seemingly abandoned. The silence in the US is being met with a roar in the UK. King Charles III, or KC3 as I like to call him, has officially announced that he's ready to help police investigations into his brother after British authorities confirmed that they're investigating Andrew's links.
Ha 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 ha, that's way too fucking funny, LMFAO. Was it on Facebook, I assume, since you said you blocked her? Can you share what she said? Was it like, I would like to get back together with you, and did she say why she wanted to get back together?
No, I'm not gonna share what was actually said, dude. It's just... the further I can get away from that crap, the better. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Why is it that with all the access to the information in the world, people are getting dumber and dumber? I've asked ChatGPT to teach me how to do basic research, read studies, investing tips, etc. We have so much knowledge access, yet most people are so dumb.
Well, everything's getting easier and more streamlined, so the kind of critical thinking required to get by is lower, so people are just getting dumber. Also, like... I think there's something that goes along with being more feminine and being more stupid. Like, all the women I've ever met that were, like, super feminine, had, like, zero male hobbies, you know, really girly girls, they're all dumb as shit. Like, it's always the girls who are, like, tomboys, who will, like, play basketball with the boys, you know, that type. Into cars, motorcycles, or something. They're always smarter. So, like, I think society is also just becoming more feminized, where you've just got so many fucking beta male pussies who, like, want to ban guns. They get offended over, like, you know, violence and somebody calling somebody a fag. Like, I think the more girly you are, like, the more dumb you are. Like, why? It's just... girl stuff is fucking dumb. Like, it just is. Clothes are fucking dumb. Makeup is fucking dumb. Movies chicks are into are fucking dumb. Like fucking romantic comedies. All the romance novels that women read, they're fucking dumb. Just everything girls like is just fucking dumb. So I think the more like girly people are becoming, like just the dumber they are, because like it's the same thing basically. So... yeah.
If you blocked her, then how is she gonna beg you for money for the animals and guilt trip you?
Well, yeah, that's the idea. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Thanks to Jeffrey Epstein. Once again, the world is moving forward while the US Department of Justice stays frozen in time. If we want to understand why there is so much frustration about a lack of consequences in the US, we need to look no further than Howard Lutnick, the current US Commerce Secretary. Up until a week ago, Lutnick's public story...
I knew a 10 out of 10 that believed my cat was part raccoon. How the fuck can you think a cat is part raccoon? They're completely different fucking species. Raccoon cat would be pretty cool. Raccoon cat. There we go. Yeah, raccoon cat would be neat. Raccoon cat hybrid. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be good. That looks good. Yeah, that's good. Oh my god. We need raccoon cat hybrids. They look nice. That's nice. We need that.
Was one of moral outrage. He claimed that after a single tour of Epstein's Manhattan home in 2005, he was so disgusted by the sight of a massage table that he vowed to never be in a room with that man again. But the 2026 files have shown that story to be a total fiction. It came out in the files that Lutnick and his family visited Epstein on his private island in 2012, 7 years after he claimed to have cut all ties and 4 years after Epstein's Florida plea deal. He was quizzed about this during a Senate Commerce Committee hearing this week.
Secretary Lutnick, I think you understand the root of concern here. It's the way you described very emphatically your first encounter with him in his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again. Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children.
It was probably wise to do a headcount check before leaving that island. While Lutnick continues to minimize his connection to Epstein, the files reveal that Lutnick and Epstein were in business together as recently as 2014, where each of them signed on behalf of limited liability companies that agreed in late 2012 to acquire stakes in a now shuttered advertising technology company called...
Yeah, he's full of shit. They were buddies.
I'm pretty sure she just saw you as a cash cow and thought she could manipulate you again to pay for her bills, since breaking up with you probably didn't work out so well since she's unattractive and can't find anyone who will support her.
Well, that's only part of the story. She tried getting money from me another route, which is threatening and harassing me, and then when that didn't work, she tried the manipulation tactic again. As a Hail Mary. Thanks for the donation, though, 21st.
Called AdFin. Lutnick also invited Epstein to an intimate fundraising event for Hillary Clinton in 2015. Despite these clear misrepresentations to the public and to Congress, Lutnick remains in his post. As the channel Voidzilla pointed out, he's frequently seen laughing and chuckling whenever the Epstein case is brought up in public, treating the entire scandal like a joke rather than a horrific criminal conspiracy, one that a Republican lawmaker has described as being bigger than Watergate. For now, in the US, it seems that lying about your ties to a sex trafficker isn't a career ender, it's just another Tuesday in Washington. This lack of individual accountability is backed up by an institutional one. As Thomas Massey discovered, the redaction process itself appears to have been rigged from the start. Massey noted that the files the DOJ was supposed to be reviewing arrived at their office already scrubbed by the FBI. This suggests that the Bureau acted as a primary filter, removing names before the Transparency Act's rules could even be applied by the DOJ. This points a finger directly at FBI Director Kash Patel. Despite his claims to be a transparency advocate, Patel told Congress that the FBI's files contained no information, none, that would warrant an investigation into anyone else. This was an incredible statement given what we're looking at. We have emails discussing torture videos, photos of a prince with a teenager, and internal documents labeling billionaires as...
She sounds like the manipulative type that calls you manipulative yet can't explain how. Oh, we had arguments about that. Yeah, that's exactly the type.
Co-conspirators, yet the head of the FBI is telling the American people that there's nothing else to see.
LOL, bitch tried to get your money through the divorce? Ha 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 ha. Did she threaten to come out and say Richard raped me and go viral unless you pay her? LMFAO, what a cunt. NGL, you're a bit cucked for not blocking her right away when she threatened you.
No, the more she talks and the more stupid shit she says, the more evidence that is against her. So I'm not gonna go over what exactly she did, but didn't work. She couldn't do it. So yeah, that didn't work out for her. So. Oh, hey, I'm sorry about what happened. Let's try to reconnect. You know, that whole thing. Thanks for the donation, though, 21st.
Patel's insistence that the case is closed for everyone but Epstein and Maxwell is the ultimate institutional wall. While the rest of the world is firing CEOs and launching police probes, the US security apparatus is telling us that Jeffrey Epstein was essentially a one-man conspiracy, that he was trafficking girls to himself. The most damning example remains the Farmer sisters. We know that they reported Epstein to the FBI 30 years ago in 1996, but the records of what the Bureau actually did with that information for the next 3 decades under 5 different presidents remain entirely hidden. We're shown the crimes, but the justice part of the Department of Justice remains redacted. It's as if the FBI is saying, we saw it, we wrote it down, and then we decided to.
Yeah, Dominus, like, again, I'm not going to say exactly what she did and what happened. The less people know, the less people talk about it, the less I have to hear about it, the better. I don't care. It seems like we're all done now. So the quieter things are, the better, because I just don't want to put up with it anymore. I had to deal with a bunch of horse shit for a few months. All I'm going to say is what she tried to do didn't work. She failed flat on her face. And we're all donesy onesie.
To do nothing. As we look at the fallout from this massive but still partial data dump, it's clear that Jay-Z and the Super Bowl halftime show is no longer enough to keep the
that was on Christmas Day.
Public from looking at what's going on around them.
So, like,
we now have a
couple months
situation
ago.
where the names of the wealthy, powerful,
Or less than a
suspected
couple months,
co-conspirators
month
are being
and a
read
half.
into the congressional record, while the systems designed to protect them are being exposed in real time. We're also witnessing a split-screen reality. In the UK, Canada, and Dubai, billionaire CEOs are losing their jobs within hours of their names being released, and royal families are opening the doors to investigators. Meanwhile, the response in the US has felt like a retreat into the absurd. This week we learned that while victims are still fighting for the basic unredacted truth, Ghislaine Maxwell declined to answer a single question from the House lawmakers in a deposition, but indicated that if President Donald Trump ended her prison sentence, she was willing to testify that neither he nor former President Bill Clinton had done anything wrong in their connections with Epstein. It's worth remembering that days after agreeing to a private conversation with one of the highest-ranking members of the Justice Department, Ghislaine Maxwell was transferred to a minimum security federal prison camp.
I'll try to make this my last question about it for tonight, but can you say if the divorce is still an ongoing process? I assumed it was over like by last summer. But am I mistaken?
Oh, it's over now. It's all over. Again, not going to go into details about everything that happened, but it's all over. Ain't nothing going to happen from here on out. Thanks for the donation, though, 21st. Someone donate 500 for VG to smoke a joint on stream. I'm not going to smoke on stream. I do actually have a lot of weed gummies. If somebody gives me $500, I'll get high. I don't care. That'd be nice to get high right now.
Where she gets custom-made meals and is allowed to have a puppy. As a convicted sex offender, she is not eligible to be kept in a minimum security prison. No explanation has been given for that upgrade. While government...
When I see women's pro snowboarding, I think, wow, that would be so easy to get sponsors if I was them. You know what's hilarious is Sha'Carri Richardson. She was getting fucking ridiculous money through like Nike sponsorships and shit. I think the top male sprinter was making like 1/20th the money she was making. Like practically nothing. At least when I read that like news article. So yeah, there's definitely sports where women often do have an advantage with sponsorships. Especially if you look like Sha'Carri Richardson, you know, like black, kind of alternative, weird colored hair and tattoos and shit.
Officials have been fighting tooth and nail to keep the details of Epstein's crimes and the names of his accomplices private. The sheer volume of public outrage has meant that some of the black ink is starting to fade. Some of the names have been released and some of the data has been made public. The thing that is so hard to understand is why there are no investigations. We have the 3 million pages of the what, but we're still waiting on the Department of Justice to show us the why. Until they release the actual FBI files, the 302 statements, and the proof of what they actually did with 30 years of investigation, and until the financial data is made public too, the transparency that we've been promised will remain exactly what the lawmakers called it, a farce. If you found this video interesting, you should watch my video on YouTube.
Yeah, that Epstein shit is fucked.
Marry their cousin. I have to admit that despite being to the Mideast a few times, I really had no idea about this until I recently read a statistic that said 55% of British Pakistanis marry their first cousins. As a Westerner, it's a baffling concept that at first I didn't believe. But when I researched it, I found out that...
So that's why they're all retarded.
Hundreds of millions of people, mostly in Muslim countries, are.
I wonder if inbreeding has a relation to violence and like radical extremism. Honor culture is characterized by violent response to perceived threats to personal or family honor, widespread honor killings, manifestation of honor culture. Da, da, da. Yeah, I wonder if like inbreeding is kind of related to the whole violent extremism thing, because oftentimes it's the second generation immigrants that are actually more religiously radical. So I wonder if it's like their fucked genes that are making them kind of go psycho.
Are married to their cousin. In a number of countries, it's the majority of all marriages. So this is what I do here at Elephants in Rooms. Take a question.
This has to be why other countries are fucking retarded.
Question that makes some people raise their eyebrows, research it, and give you a straightforward and fair answer. And it's never about nya, because the people on this planet are fascinating animals. Here, we'll first look at the global picture. Where is it legal or banned or popular? Then we'll answer the question, why not marry your cousin? Looking at stigma and health reasons. I flip it around and then get into the question of why people do it with a focus on Pakistan, and then talk about what caused the split of Islam versus the world, because there's a clear correlation with some twists. And finally, we'll take a quick look at how it really reshaped societies. Okay, so first of all, from a legal perspective, most countries don't ban marrying your cousin outright. The blue areas on this chart show that. So China does, South Korea and the Philippines, some countries in the Balkans, and a few others. The United States, it has a patchwork of laws. Legal in 18 states, restricted in a handful, and banned in the rest. Actually, 8 states...
Oh, look at that. Florida, of course. In California, huh?
Criminalize marrying your first cousin instead of just denying a marriage license. And that's something that I couldn't find in any other country in the world. But even in states and non-Muslim countries where it's fully legal, it's exceedingly rare in practice. In the United States, they estimate about 2 out of 1,000 marriages are among first cousins. It's very rare in Europe, Asia, South America, and really any country without a large Muslim presence, with the exception of a few pockets in Hindu South India, which sees rates over 25%. So where's it popular? On a map, it's easy to see what they call the cousin marriage belt. It runs from Morocco through Pakistan, a nearly perfect overlap with Muslim-majority countries. Pakistan leads the bunch. About 2/3 of marriages are between blood relatives, usually first cousins. Across the Mideast and North Africa, 20 to 50% of all marriages involve cousins. The overall numbers are hard to pin down precisely, but there are at least 500 million people married to their first cousin. Closer to
BG, with downhill mountain bike racing, 100% would podium every race, since in men's I already do a lot of the time. Would be nice to be doing it for a living, but I'm not even close to men's fastest. Well, just say you're a woman, and then there you go.
To 1 billion when you include second cousins as well. But it's important to note that there's not a uniformity here, with some Muslim countries having substantially lower rates. Bangladesh is 90% Muslim, but cousin marriage rate sits at around 17%. Indonesia has the world's largest Muslim population, and their cousin marriage rates are about the same. Turkey, about 25% and falling. The rate of India's Muslims is 32%, which is many times higher than non-Muslim societies, but half the Pakistani rate, despite living right next door and sharing the same religion. You also see lower numbers among Muslims born in Western countries. For instance, British Pakistanis born in the UK see rates drop by over half when they grew up in that different culture. So, what's so bad about marrying your cousin? Let's take a look at the stigma and the health issues. But first, let's spend a moment on something that I think about constantly: how news gets reported. Now, I worked in newsrooms for 2 decades, and I watched it turn from kind of biased to, you gotta be kidding me. Today's sponsor, Ground News, is an antidote to that. They gather news coverage from over 50,000 sources and show you who's reporting on a story. Okay, so now back to the dating game. Let's talk about those cultures where it's not common and look at the question, why not marry your cousin? There are health issues to discuss, but in the West, marrying your cousin just feels wrong. It's a weaker version of the taboo against incest, but the gut reaction is immediate for most people, even if they can't quite articulate why. Part of it is familiarity. Cousins are family, and family just isn't supposed to be romantic. Cousins show up at family reunions, Christmas dinners, backyard barbecues. Potential partner and family, those just don't overlap in most of the world. Western individualism also emphasizes the whole concept of building a life with someone you choose. That's the opposite of someone your family tree gave you. And then there's a class dimension too. Cousin marriage seems backwards and uneducated in Western cultures. The hillbilly or the inbreeding stereotypes, they have a real social stigma. The bottom line is that our culture has spent 1,500 years conditioning us to see marrying your cousin is wrong. So even without understanding the history or the science, we've internalized the taboo. It's written into our cultural DNA. But there are also real health reasons behind that instinct. Birth defects double in first cousin marriages from roughly 2 to 3% to 4 to 6%. That means the vast majority of children are born healthy, but the ones who aren't, they're often severely damaged. And while single-generation cousin marriage carries a moderate risk, when it repeats across generations, the danger multiplies. If your parents were cousins and you marry your cousins, rare genetic diseases can jump 10 to 20 times higher than the general population. Recessive genes that might stay hidden for generations, they show themselves when the same limited gene pool keeps intermarrying. Infant mortality overall is higher, and there's a spike in conditions like congenital heart defects, neural tube defects, intellectual problems. The city of Bradford, England, shows the effect in stark numbers. British Pakistani children comprise 3% of births overall, but 30% of children born with genetic disorders. Again, most families are fine, but a minority, they can face devastating outcomes. So here's some context to think about because it gives this whole issue a little bit more nuance. Smoking during pregnancy. That shows a considerably higher correlation with birth defects than marrying your first cousin. Alcohol use, that's even worse. Now, those things carry a social stigma in most parts of society, but government surveys in the United States show almost 5% of expecting mothers smoked during their pregnancy, and 14% reported drinking, with a third of those reporting binge drinking. Or you can look at...
Just not have those people live.
Children born to women over the age of 40. They face similar risks, but nobody's talking about banning that. So the health reasons against having children with your cousin are real, but the reaction against the practice, it goes deeper than just health statistics. Okay, so now let's flip the question and look at the reasons why people do it. I mean, hundreds of millions of people don't marry their first cousin without rational reasons to do so. And what I discovered is that it's
I don't know about that.
not really their religion leading them to it, but cultural factors that support their economic and social structures. And some of it offers advantages for brides and their husbands. I mentioned Pakistan's high rates, so let's focus on that as a case study. Its social structure is often described as intensive kinship. Families and extended clans make up the core of social life and support systems, especially in rural areas. Your relatives are your bankers, business partners, and safety net. Marrying within the family strengthens those ties. And a cousin marriage, it's not just seen as a union of two people, it's essentially a contract between two branches of the same family. Clan strength, that depends on size, cohesion, and concentrated wealth. Marry outside the clan and you fragment those. You're now doing favors for your wife's relatives instead of building your own power base. Another thing, Pakistan is a heavily agrarian society, and for farmers, land is everything. And Pakistani inheritance law divides the land among all sons. A 10-acre farm split 4 ways might become 4 barely sustainable plots. But marry your cousin, those plots recombine in the next generation and automatically solve that fragmentation problem. A bride's dowry price also runs about half the cost when you marry a cousin versus an outsider. And then, the money stays in the extended family's pocket instead of going to strangers. All of this helps middle-class families stay that way. Wealthy families, they marry cousins to keep fortunes consolidated. For example, the Sharif family, Pakistan's political dynasty, they've practiced cousin marriage for generations, keeping their business and their political empire tightly controlled. And poor families,
Well, this all explains to me why Pakistan sucks.
marry cousins because they literally can't afford the bride price for outsiders. So the system works at every economic level, just for different reasons. There are also a number of advantages that families say they see in cousin marriages, especially for their daughters. One is that it keeps the family closer together geographically. A young woman isn't marrying someone far away where you might only see her on holidays, she stays nearby. Another is familiarity. The couple and families know each other and share similar values. The concept of, we know the boy and his family because they're our relatives, that's more comforting than bringing in a stranger where everything's unknown. There's also an implicit trust that a cousin might be less likely to mistreat his wife, since he brings shame on the entire family, and that the family could intervene if a problem arises. Now, that might have an element of truth to it, but when I tried to look into the domestic violence data, I really couldn't find any real reason to believe that cousin marriage is overall protective. Because sometimes nearby can really mean trapped. And if disputes arise between the family, that doesn't necessarily mean that they prioritize a wife's safety. Honor killings in Pakistan, they're a thing, and they're most commonly committed by a woman's husband or her brother. It's hard, sometimes impossible, to really look at a discrete element of a society and say, how does that affect things overall? Another factor that perpetuates cousin marriage is extreme gender segregation. In rural areas, women are often kept separate from men outside their family altogether. In conservative households, women's entire social world is the family compound. They often can't leave the house unaccompanied. They don't attend mixed gender schools or work outside the home. Their entire social network consists of relatives. So for some young people, Relatives are literally the only opposite sex people they've ever had a conversation with. You can't marry someone you've never met. And usually, parents control marriage decisions with a near total authority. The vast majority of Pakistani weddings, they're arranged by the family. Even love marriages are usually just family-approved choices between cousins who've developed affection over the years. A 2019 survey found that 82% of Pakistani women reported having no say in choosing their spouse. And the final major factor I'll mention is one that doesn't encourage cousin marriages per se, but it's a requirement for it to continue: a high fertility rate. You need lots of kids and you need lots of cousins. I mean, think about it. If you have 4 siblings who each have 4 kids, that's 16 first cousins for potential marriage partners. Compare that to countries with half the fertility rate of Pakistan, and the math works out to only 2 or 3 first cousins. Pakistani's population doubled from 1990 to 2020, so the cousin pool keeps expanding. But for countries where fertility rate drops, the whole system falls apart. There just aren't enough cousins to go around. That, along with other social changes, explains why cousin marriage rates dropped in countries like Bangladesh and Turkey, despite the same Islamic traditions. Turkey's fertility rate crashed from 4.5 children per woman in 1980 to 1.5 today. Bangladesh saw similar numbers. Aggressive campaigns there saw the rate of educated girls triple since 1990, and fertility rates dropped as they usually do when more women go to school. Economic development and urbanization also increased gender mixing and marriage markets beyond the family. The religion stayed the same, but the structures of their societies changed. Hey, this is a good time to mention, if I've made a real mistake here, yell at me in the comments. I'll address it in a pinned comment and the description box, where you can also find my script and my sources. Okay, so let's look at Islam versus the world and answer the core question: why is cousin marriage only common in one religion? The short answer: Islam didn't start the practice, but it didn't ban it either. Christianity did, and that choice reshaped much of the world. So marrying your cousin wasn't invented by any one culture or religion, and in the old days, it was everywhere. The Bible had Jacob marrying 2 of his cousins. Sarah was Abraham's half-sister. And if you're a strict creationist, Adam and Eve's kids didn't have many options for populating the planet. In ancient Egypt, nobility routinely married cousins as a safer alternative to sibling marriage. Even pharaohs recognized sibling marriage carried visible dangers to the health of children, but pharaohs often did it anyway to preserve their bloodlines. But the commoners didn't, and cousin marriage became a respectable version of that. Pre-Islamic Arabia made cousin marriage standard practice for centuries before Muhammad. Greek and Roman families did it. Jewish communities did so under Mosaic law. Then, in medieval times, the religion split, with Islam staying the same. The Quran explicitly permits cousin marriage when it lists who you can't marry: mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, nieces. Cousins aren't mentioned, and in Islamic law, what's not forbidden is allowed. Essentially, silence equals permission. Muhammad himself took a cousin for one of his wives.
Cuckold cock, $92. Let me see. Okay. This is AI. Why are you sending me this retarded brain rot? Yeah, I'm not turning the volume on that one. Thanks for the donation, asshole.
And for 1,400 years, every major school of Islamic law has approved it, Sunni and Shia alike. So when something is allowed in scripture and practiced by the prophet, it's protected from reform. Some contemporary Islamic scholars, they raise health concerns, but they can't call it haram without contradicting clear religious text. But Christianity took a different path, and around 500 AD, the Catholic Church started restricting it. Pope Gelasius initially banned marriages to third cousins, and over years, the rules kept tightening. 500 years later, it reached sixth cousins, people who share great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, basically everyone in a medieval village. The church required a detailed genealogical investigation before any marriage, and you had to prove that you weren't related going back 6 generations. In a world where most people never traveled more than 20 miles from their home, that eliminated most potential spouses. As the Protestant Reformation came along, they didn't reverse this practice, and the restrictions survived the split. So why did the church do it? St. Augustine argued in the 5th century that marrying outside kin groups should bind social life more effectively. He noted cousin marriage wasn't forbidden by divine law, but that people shrank from it because it felt too close to incest. That natural human revulsion to incest, visible across every culture, extended in Christianity's thinking to cousins. Now, some historians, like Jack Goody, argue a darker theory, that the church was really motivated by money. Weakening lineages increased the odds that property would go to the church when families died without heirs. Now, it's easy in life to always say, you're doing that for
Well, Catholics definitely would have had that idea.
self-serving reasons, but it's hard to figure out the truth sometimes. In this instance, there's really little evidence to really believe that medieval clergy were cynical schemers. But the policy did bring political and economic changes. Breaking kinship structures, it weakened power bases that rivaled the church authority. And by 1200, the church owned over a quarter of Europe's land that could be cultivated, much of it through these inheritance patterns. Still, the church eventually rolled the prohibition back, which could argue against a pure land grab, and by the 1200s, it settled on first cousins. Victorian England still had some instances of it in the upper classes, but by the 1900s, the practice was generally under 1% in Western countries. So what about non-Christian, non-Muslim countries? China's path on cousin marriage, it was a bit messy, with different dynasties having different rules. The practice never had religious protection, though, so when the Communist Party banned it in 1980, it was really just a public health decision. India's more complicated. It never passed a national ban, but rates sharply declined in urban areas where education, mobility, and falling birth rates, they did what laws didn't have to. The worldwide pattern? We see a combination of Western influence, modernization, and genetic awareness driving the decline. Christianity really led the way in medieval times, and most everyone else how it reshaped societies. Primarily, it forced
I hate Jeeps. Pile of garbage vehicles. Well, the new Jeeps, yeah. The old ones used to be, like, pretty decent. I remember one model year actually was particularly good. It might have been like an 04, 08, something like that. But yeah, the newer Jeeps are just fucking terrible. Stellantis is just pumping out garbage.
Europeans to build economic and social relationships outside of kinship networks. You couldn't keep a family business going for generations by marrying cousins. Instead, you had to create partnerships and contracts with non-relatives. That pushed the development of institutions like guilds and corporations and banks that would lend to strangers. Middle Eastern societies, they kept their family-based trust networks. European marriage patterns created smaller nuclear families instead of large clans. So inheritance split across smaller family lines, not staying with the big extended families. Property had to be managed more actively. It couldn't just sit in a large family's hands for centuries. The social structures shifted from clan loyalty to individual achievement. And when you
We learned many new details about the guns used in the mass shooting on Tuesday just now from the RCMP. CTV's Rachel Aiello was listening live. She joins us now. Rachel, police said they were prioritizing the...
Hummers were always dumb, shitty vehicles. Even the, like, better H1 Hummers. Like the real Hummers, they were kind of crappy still. I think they accelerated from like 0 to 60 in like 18 seconds or something. It's insane. I'm pretty sure it's like 18 seconds. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, the H1 Hummers, 0 to 60 in about 15 to 20 seconds, and it's closer to 20. I was watching a car YouTuber who's like a mechanic. He got his Hummer to go from 0 to 60 in 18 seconds. They're always terrible. And you can't tow with them. They're just dumb. It's more just a status symbol. You can swap these with better diesel engines and then get like decent 0 to 60 times, like 0 to 60 in like maybe 8 seconds. But the cars as sold are fucking terrible. And the H2s are just, oh my god. These are the most embarrassing vehicles ever made. Like, only the Cybertruck really rivals how fucking stupid these things are. They have, like, no interior room and terrible fucking visibility. Like, it's like, you get the visibility out of, it's similar to, like, a sports car. It's weird. The windows are so small. The way they're placed, you can't see anything. And again, you have like practically no fucking interior room, which is surprising given how fucking big these things are. And again, they're low-powered, slow pieces of shit that are like good for nothing. Son Goku donated $2. Saying nobody is illegal on stolen land would be the equivalent of saying no drugs are illegal in a stolen car. No. It's even dumber than that. The Indian tribes were just retarded. Simple as that. They're just stupid. And they're tribes people. What do you expect? So, one, a lot of them are hypocrites because they literally genocided each other. The Comanche and Apaches are like one of the best examples of that. And two, they made land agreements that they wanted to just renege on because they realized after the fact it was a bad idea. So they would make agreements to trade like a bunch of land for like fucking whiskey or some stupid shit. And we drank all the whiskey. We want our land back now. That's how a lot of it was. So like it's just fucking dumb. Thanks for the donation though, Son Goku.
Analysis of the weapons involved, and we've learned 4 of them.
Yeah, that's right, Marcia. So the RCMP is saying that there are 4 weapons.
The Hummer EV is also a stupid vehicle. It's not nearly as bad as the H1 or H2 Hummers, but they're not good for anything. It's just like a status symbol. I've seen one. I was in Ottawa and I came across a guy with an EV Hummer. They're impressive vehicles. Like, they look nice, they look expensive, they have a lot of features and stuff, but like they're still stupid. One, why the fuck would you have an electric vehicle that's that massive? So the actual efficiency it gets is fucking terrible. And then they have to make up for it by having a ridiculously massive battery in the thing, which makes it so heavy that you're not actually allowed to drive it on certain public roads. And then the tires wear out like fucking crazy. You have to replace the tires way more often than on a normal car. And again, to get like similar range in a smaller vehicle, like you have to use way more fucking battery. So you have to like spend way more time charging the thing. Like, it's just stupid. And again, you can't tow with it because it's electric. It doesn't even have as good like storage space as just smaller fucking cars. So like, it's just a status symbol, you know. If you want an electric vehicle that's like big and cool and expensive, you know, but like, you know, most people aren't like just so wealthy and shit out money that they can just, for the lulz, get an electric Hummer, you know? So it's just a dumb car. I gotta take a poop. I'm gonna poop, and then I'll be right back. Look at this. Look who's on my chair. Who could this be? Who could this be? Hmm? Yeah. Don't bite me. I'll pet you. No biting. Ah. Ah. What are you doing? Trying to sit. All right. Took a nice big fat shit and I got my gum gum. That's right. That's a good gum gum. Got such a big cat head. Son Goku, don't need to tell others humans getting what they deserve. Let me see. Kangaroo. Oh, I love my gum gum. It's a good kitty. Wow. What a big hungry boy.
Oh, no, he's not.
Yeah. Kangaroos will do that.
What banana? Oh, he's getting tough. He's getting tough. Are you telling us no? You're getting tough?
You guys see this? Oh my god, you have such a big cat head. You're like a big panther. Yeah. Oh. Love you so much, Gum Gum. He's a really good baby. Look at him. Oh, such a sweetie. He just loves to cuddle.
Oh, yeah, he's interested in that banana. Hi, buddy.
Here, put it here.
He probably wants it low. Here, just come in the fence with him. Eat it right out of your hand. Hi, Joey. Yeah. You're okay. He's just giving you a banana. He's just giving you a banana, buddy. You threw the banana.
Oh. Yeah, I love you too. I love you too. Yeah. I love you, baby. I wish I could share all my food with you, but you'd get fat and sick. Yeah, I want you healthy. Oh, what a good baby. Your sweetie pie. Mm-hmm. You're so beautiful. This is a nice kitty. He makes me feel good.
Hey, buddy.
It's okay.
Hi, Joey. You're okay.
Why don't they just fucking leave? They're bothering the fucking kangaroo.
You're okay, buddy. How you doing, Joey? Hi.
No, he's gonna attack him.
Oh, are you sweet? He's just trying to give you a hug.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
no.
he's not. No, he's not.
Yeah, bro, hey, can you get the potato?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's...
They're fucking stupid. This is stupid. Yeah, get fucked, asshole. Thanks for the donation, Son Goku.
Associated with this incident, but they are really focusing in on analyzing 3. So let's break down what that means. So 2 of these firearms were located at the residence, but police are saying that they believe a shotgun was believed to be the weapon.
I have the worst apartment neighbors. Who the fuck makes noise banging on the wall and shit at 12 a.m.? Fuck those people.
Yeah, I guess just trailer trash. Trailer trash dumbasses. Thanks for the donation though, Sid.
Involved in the homicides at the home. And then, of course, there were the 2 firearms located at the school, which we had known previously, a long gun and a modified rifle. And police believe that the weapon there that inflicted what they're saying was the most damage was, quote, origins unknown. So they are still trying to establish how the shooter got access to that firearm. Here's a bit more from the RCMP.
Of the
We know it ain't an assault weapon.
Firearms at the school, the main firearm, believed to be the one that caused the most significant damage, is origins unknown. It's never been in previous RCMP controlled, never been seized by us. We're trying to determine how our suspect got that firearm, and that investigation is continuing. Of the firearms in the residence, the shotgun is an unregistered weapon and has never been previously seized by police.
So, Rachel, did we learn anything then about how the shooter gained access to the guns?
Yeah, so the RCMP confirmed today that the mother, the woman deceased in the home, did have a valid PAL. That is a possession and acquisition license. The RCMP indicated that there were no firearms, though, registered to that PAL, but confirming in that press conference that the weapons that they believe were directly involved in the killing in this case were not weapons that they had previously seized and returned to the residence, which was a point of question over the last number of days, Marcia, as there's been questions around if there were multiple mental health calls to this individual's home, why those weapons were seized and then returned. So the RCMP, as their investigation is continuing into the nature of all of the weapons, at least the firearms that they believe were used in the killings here were not ones that the RCMP had returned.
The plot thickens. I have a funny feeling the RCMP is lying about something. They're trying to cover their ass again.
Hey everyone, many of you saw my video a few days ago humiliating
Hmm.
It's an expensive building. They're not trailer trash. They're just selfish scumbags with a dumbass kid. They always do this shit. Don't know how it's possible to make that much noise.
It's probably the kid, if I had to guess. Yeah, it's always fucking kids. And the parents do nothing to discipline their children and just let them do whatever the fuck they want. Just retarded. Thanks for the donation though, Sid. Yeah, this looks gay. Gay, gay, gay. Fag kind of gay. This cat is very big. Very, very big. Cat. You're such a cat. Goodness. Why don't utilitarians do you keep a weapon in your bedroom in case anyone tries to break in? I do not share my full operational capacity. Are you a deep sleeper? Yeah. Do you think you could sleep through someone breaking in, not realize until they're in your room already? Nah, I'd wake up. I don't sleep that deep. Thanks for the donation though, why? Nanite? Oh my god, it's Unreal Engine 5. This might not be good. Why don't utilitarians thanks was just asking for a friend who really liked your video on the Prophet Muhammad. May peace be upon him. Uh-huh. Thanks for that donation, dude. Nah, I don't play Battlefield 6 anymore. The last update destroyed the game. Just sucks. Why donate $2? JK, obviously, I know. Thanks for that donation, dude. Now we're playing Last of Us 2 again.
I thought you were dead. Where are the others? Don't know.
Is there somewhere we can dock? It says something floating in there. I don't get it. Where can you not go on the shore? Oh, okay. This game's about your mom. Right. Rat. Key. Um. Huh? Oh, you have to hold it up. Oh. Yeah.
while you still can.
Jay donated $2 beta mail.
Protein than your $4 protein bar. Real Parmesan cheese has about 32 grams of protein per 100 grams. That's more protein density than beef, more than chicken. It's also fermented for 12 to 36 months, which makes it easier to digest. It's also pretty calorically
That does not make it easier to digest.
dense, so you don't need a lot of it. Just a little bit of this will go a long way. Remember, nutrition isn't always about what the label says.
So why would we listen to this like beta male twink kid? It's fucking cringe, man. Oh, that is so cringe. Who the fuck eats cheese for protein? Parmesan cheese is also fucking disgusting. How the fuck do you eat a brick of Parmesan cheese? Like, that's actually one of the grossest cheeses you can fucking eat. So fucking dumb. Oh. Okay, that's not how the thing worked. I don't know what achievement that was. What the hell's going on there? I'm confused. Didn't I just get the key? Not unlock it? I got the key, right? Yeah, I picked up the key. What if you can fuck around with the other toilets? Oh. Does it open that door? Yeah. good. Oh my god. Oh, I see. Monsters are up your ass. Oh, hey, there's the other little guy. And back here. See, Jay donated $2. Is this guy retarded? Probably. Oh.
Number 2 would be to fully divest all foreign bonds of any country, and there's only one country that we invest in abroad, and that's Israel.
There's not...
$385 million. You know what really got them? Is I said I would then...
He thinks the United States only has Israeli bonds?
Take the $385 million and create a statewide down payment assistance program for young married couples, because we have to protect home ownership so young folks across our state can buy a place to...
It's not even worth watching. I can't stand listening to any of these videos, especially since they add in that stupid fucking music. It's Tucker Carlson, dude. Anybody who's on Tucker Carlson's obviously a fucktard. Oh my god.
I told you to leave.
This game is spooky. Scary monster Batman. With a person with good mobility is a SQB worth buying. What's an SQB? Oh shit. Weird skin things. Oh no! My nose keeps itching. The worst time. Safety squat bar. Oh shit it. SSB. Yeah. It's a bit more like doing a front squat. So it's a little more quad focused. Thanks Or you didn't donate, never mind. Is that a turkey? Oh. It's a chicken. I think that's a chicken. Oh, it's chicken without a head. Oh no. Oh, that's awful. Oh no. That's a lot of the skin things. Is that a ice cream truck? Are you gonna see the back rooms maybe? If it looks any good, sure. I like the back rooms lore. We're supposed to be going away from it. Dumbass. Oh no, I'm so stupid. Well, all that trouble. Wait, are we supposed to go through here? No. What is this? I think we'll end things here. That's a neat game, though. I like those types of games, and I'm sure Dodo does too. But I'm gonna try getting some sleep. Hope you guys had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. And I should see you all tomorrow. So nighty-night, sweet dreams.